Most people manage money with one account and good intentions. Wealthy people do something completely different. The American personal savings rate sits at just 4.4% of disposable income, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and that number tells a damaging story. The average household earns more than ever, yet nearly nothing is being systematically captured and put to work. The people who consistently build real wealth are not earning dramatically more than everyone else. They are moving money differently. Specifically, they are running a system, a four-account structure that, once set up, works automatically, requires almost no willpower, and essentially removes your own worst financial instincts from the equation. Here is how it works, why the science behind it is bulletproof, and exactly how you can copy it starting today. Let's talk about willpower for a second, because most financial advice is built on the assumption that you have an unlimited supply of it. The research says otherwise. Psychologist Roy Baumeister's foundational work on decision fatigue demonstrates that self-control is a finite mental resource. The more decisions you make in a day, the worse your judgment becomes as the day goes on. This is why people who swear they will transfer money to savings at the end of the month almost never do. By the time the month ends, the money is gone. Not because of a character flaw, because the brain's capacity for disciplined financial behavior depletes under the weight of daily life. Richard Thaler, the Nobel Prize-winning behavioral economist who developed the Save More Tomorrow framework at UCLA, built an entire savings architecture around this insight. His core finding was blunt. For most Americans, the only savings that reliably accumulates is savings that never touches their hands in the first place. Social Security works, pension contributions work, mortgage equity builds. All three of these systems are automatic. None require willpower. That pattern is not a coincidence. It is a design principle. The four-account system takes that design principle and applies it to your entire financial life. Your paycheck lands in one place and then, immediately and automatically, it splits into four dedicated pools, each with a specific job and zero overlap. The accounts are your operations account, your wealth account, your tax reserve account, and your freedom account. Think of the paycheck as raw material flowing into a distribution hub. The hub processes it before you have a chance to make a single decision about it. That processing is the system. The system is the strategy. Account 1 is your operations account, your main checking account. This is where your paycheck lands and where your fixed recurring expenses flow from. Rent or mortgage, utilities, car payment, insurance, subscriptions, minimum debt payments. The key discipline here is that you treat this account like a business treats operating expenses. Essential, predictable, and bounded. A CNBC-cited report found that 76% of millionaires use some form of budgeting, and the version they tend to use is not obsessive penny tracking. It is simply knowing exactly what their fixed monthly overhead looks like and not allowing it to expand without a conscious decision. Your operations account should cover your non-negotiables and nothing else. You are not impulsive spending from this account, because impulsive spending is going to have its own dedicated home, which we will get to. The money that stays in operations is the money that keeps your financial infrastructure stable. Account 2 is your wealth account, and this is where the compounding happens. Within 24 to 48 hours of your paycheck landing, an automated transfer moves a fixed percentage directly into this account. This is the account that funds your Roth IRA, your brokerage account, your 401k contributions beyond your employer match, or your index fund positions. The percentage you target here matters enormously. Self-made millionaire and financial expert Ramit Sethi recommends starting at 10% of your take-home income and building toward 15 to 20% over time. A 2025 report from CNBC found that 67% of American workers live paycheck to paycheck. And yet, even among that group, individual savings behavior changes dramatically once automation is in place, because the money moves before the brain registers it as available to spend. Behavioral economists call this reference point anchoring. When your automatic transfer runs on payday, your mental reference point for what I have becomes the post-transfer balance. You adapt to the lower number the same way you adapted to taxes being withheld. You stop thinking about money you never see. Here is the piece of this that most personal finance advice skips entirely. The wealth account should not sit in a traditional savings account, earning the national average rate of 0.39%, according to the FDIC's February 2026 data. That rate is actively losing ground to inflation. As of February 2026, the best high-yield savings accounts are paying around 4% annual percentage yield, more than 10 times the national average at FDIC-insured online banks. For the liquid portion of your wealth account that you are staging before investing, that difference compounds meaningfully over time. $5,000 at 0.4% earns $20 in a year. The same $5,000 at 4% earns $204. Before your money moves into market investments, it should be sitting somewhere that is at least keeping pace with its surroundings. Account 3 is the tax reserve account. And for employees with standard W-2 income, this account is less urgent because your employer handles withholding. But the moment you have any freelance income, side business revenue, rental income, 1099 payments, or investment gains beyond your tax-advantaged accounts, this account becomes non-negotiable. The IRS expects quarterly estimated payments. Missing them triggers penalties. And if you have been depositing all your freelance revenue into your operations account without reserving a portion for taxes, the bill that arrives in April is not actually a surprise. It was just postponed. The standard rule for side income is to reserve between 25 and 30% of every payment into a dedicated, untouched tax reserve account. You treat that money like it was never yours, because legally, it was not. Opening this as a separate high-yield savings account at a different institution from your primary bank adds one more layer of psychological friction, meaning you are less likely to raid it during a stressful month. Account 4 is your freedom account, sometimes called a guilt-free spending account, and this is where most people's systems fall apart if it does not exist. Ramit Sethi makes this point clearly in his work. The systems that last are the ones that include a designated pool for guilt-free spending. If your budget has no room for enjoyment, it will not survive contact with real life. The Freedom account receives a fixed allocation from your paycheck, typically 5 to 10%, calibrated to your income and goals. This is the only account you spend freely from. Dining out, entertainment, travel, clothes you actually want, the concert tickets, the spontaneous weekend trip, all of it comes from here. When the Freedom account is low, you wait. When it is full, you spend without guilt, because every other account has already been funded. The psychological effect of this separation is significant. Research on mental accounting, pioneered by Richard Thaler and Hirsch Sheffrin at the University of Chicago, shows that people manage money differently when it is physically and psychologically separated into designated pools. The Freedom Fund is not frivolous. It is structural. It is what keeps the entire system functioning for years rather than weeks. Now let's talk about how you actually set this up, because the power is entirely in the automation, not in the intention. Step 1. Open 4 separate accounts if you do not already have them. Most people already have a checking account for operations. The wealth account can be a high-yield savings account at an online bank like Ally, Marcus, or Capital One 360, or it can be a brokerage account if you are comfortable investing directly. The tax reserve and freedom accounts can be basic savings accounts, separate from each other and from your primary bank to create deliberate distance. Step 2. Set your allocations. A reasonable starting framework is roughly 55 to 60% to operations, 20% to wealth, 10 to 15% to tax reserve if you have self-employment income, and 5 to 10% to freedom. These are not rigid. They reflect your life and adjust as your income grows. Step 3. Automate every transfer to FIRE on the same day your paycheck lands. Your 401k contributions should already be automatic through your employer's payroll system, your Roth IRA transfer, your high-yield savings transfer, your Freedom account transfer, all of them scheduled to execute within 48 hours of payday. Operations covers what remains. What this structure does at a system level is profound. It eliminates the need to make dozens of small saving decisions throughout the month. Decisions that, as Baumeister's research confirmed, deplete the same cognitive resource you need for every other area of your life. It also bypasses loss aversion. Research from the Social Security Administration's behavioral economics literature confirms that automatic payroll deductions bypass people's instinct to frame saving as a loss, because the reference point for available income is established after the transfer occurs. You do not feel like money was taken from you. You simply operate within the world of what you actually have. The most actionable insight, the one that directly determines the outcome of this system, is the sequence. Most people fund their lifestyle first and save whatever is left. The 4-account structure flips that completely. The wealth account gets funded before the operations account takes a single dollar. That is the entire architecture of pay yourself first, the principle endorsed by Ramit Sethi and rooted in decades of behavioral research showing that saving last produces near zero savings, while saving first produces compounding wealth. Your lifestyle does not set the ceiling on your wealth. Your wealth allocation sets the floor, and your lifestyle fits within what remains. That one resequencing, applied consistently through automation over years, is the actual mechanism behind the financial outcomes that look from the outside like they require extraordinary income or extraordinary discipline. They require neither. They require a functioning system. That is the kind of practical, research-grounded framework that Next-Gen Finance is built on, showing you exactly how the mechanics of wealth building work and giving you the tools to apply them to your own financial situation. If you want more content structured this way, subscribing means you will see every new video the moment it drops, and you will not miss the frameworks that most financial media never explains. What does your current money system look like? Are you running one account, two, or something more structured? Drop your setup in the comments because I read every single one, and understanding where you are starting from helps shape the most useful content for this community. This video is for educational purposes only and is not financial or investment advice. Please do your own research and consult a licensed financial professional before making any financial decisions.